Hey guys, I'm Diego Producer. I'm a Venezuelan music producer and mix engineer living in Italy. Today I'm gonna show you how to professionally mix vocals in 2025. This chain could be used on any kind of music style. So if you wanna learn a little bit more about this, come with me. Before we start, I wanted to tell you that I was recording this vocal line for a client and I thought, because I really like the way I mix it, it's really simple. I thought that it was the perfect example to show you how to mix vocals or how I mix vocals in 2025. It's really simple, it's really straightforward, and you can really take this technique, this chain, to each kind of music style. Of course, for example, if you're mixing rock, you could saturate a bit more the signal to get it more aggressive, or if you're doing trap, you can use maybe auto-tune in a faster way, or if you're doing a different kind of pop, you could use more or less reverb, so you can adapt these tips, but for sure they are helpful and they can be applied to any kind of music. So let's hear what I have. Since I was working with this client, I cannot use his music, so I basically grabbed 2 loops from Splice just to give you a little context of the vocal with some music. So here's how it sounds. Okay, great. That's it. Let's start from scratch. So let's bypass everything and let me show you what I had when I recorded. Okay, this is the original take. Am I dreaming? I'm still here. Oh, I feel it. Okay, that's me basically singing. So I'm not the best singer, but if I use auto-tune, here I'm using the graph mode. So basically, if you press this button and you play the song, auto-tune will scan all your performance and then you can manually fix each note. If you want a tutorial about this on how to manually pitch correct your vocals, let me know and I'll do a video on that. But basically I did that. I'm using a retune speed of 30, so really soft, really gentle, since I don't want the auto-tune effect, robotic effect. I want something pretty clear, pretty natural. If you want the robotic, the T-Pain kind of effect, you need to use the retune speed at 0 and change from modern to classic, at least on this autotune. After that, I'm using another autotune, in this case in auto mode, to correct the final details, again in a supernatural way. So flex tune is at 30, same thing for humanize. After that, I use for this recording the ML1 by Slate Digital. It's a mic that you can basically super flat, but then here on the DAW, you can, with this plugin, assign an emulation of a super cool mic. In this case, I'm doing the Neumann U87 emulation, so it's adding me that little extra. Let's see the difference. Am I dreaming? I'm still here. Oh, I feel it. Again, it's not much, it's like 5%, but each single step we're gonna improve 5-10%, but then at the end we'll have a huge difference. Okay, so let's start now with the mixing. So the first plugin I'm using is the Nectar 4 by iZotope, and I'm using Auto Level. Auto Level basically is like the vocal writer. I don't know if you know it, but basically you assign an input, a volume, and then the plugin creates like an real-time automation to keep the level at the
the volume you told. So for example, -8, it will increase and decrease the volume to keep me always at that level. This is helpful because then when I go to the compressor, the signal is really controlled and it's really like it doesn't have peaks or weird dynamic things. The compression will be way gentler and more transparent. Then after that, I have this EQ, which is really cool because you can assign the frequency band to a harmonic. So for example, the first harmonic usually is the more powerful one, and since you're close to the mic, that's kind of like the harmonic that gives you that muddiness. So here I can attach to that harmonic, and if the harmonic goes up, the auto-tune, the equalizer, will follow. So I'm doing this with the first two harmonics. A really cool trick to know how much should I take out is like do it drastically, like a lot, and then start to hear it and move it up until you hear a natural sound. Let's do it together.
Am I dreaming?
Okay, let's do it in context because really important, we need to mix always in context. So do not mix listening in solo. That's the worst mistake. It has to sound good with the rest of the instruments, not in solo.
Am I dreaming? I'm still here. Oh, I feel it on my.
There sounds good. Same thing with the second harmonic. Check it out how it follows.
Am I dreaming?
Cool.
I'm still here. Oh, I feel it on my skin.
The rest are resonances that I do not like or parts that I don't like. So simply like kind of like scroll and listen to the parts that but don't search like crazy. Just like if you notice something, try to find it and bring it down really gently. Then after this, I'm going to the two compressors. The first one is the 1176. In this case, if you see, I'm using a ratio of 20. So it's really aggressive, but I want this to work fast. So fast attack, fast release. I just wanted to basically almost like limit the peaks of the signal. So it's not compressing really the overall level, but the peaks of the signal.
Am I dreaming? I'm still here.
I try to always compress between -5 and -7. But I mean, this is like indication. You don't need to follow this like a rule. You need to listen and follow your ears. That's the best advice.
Am I dreaming? I'm still here.
Then I add the super famous LA2A. This is an optical compressor. So if you don't know, it's a really like slow compressor that adds super natural on the music because it's not fast. It's really gentle, like I said. So it's really musical.
Am I dreaming? I'm still here.
I try to really compress the loudest on the sweet spot. That is like between -5 and -3.
Am I dreaming? I'm still here.
Okay, let's hear the before and after everything we've done so far.
Am I dreaming? I'm still here.
Quite a change. So after this, I'm using a de-esser to remove those S's, those sibilants that can be a little annoying.
Am I dreaming? I'm still here.
Then the first EQ that I use is mostly subtractive EQ. So I'm cleaning the signal to send it as good as possible to the compressors. Once the signal is compressed, I can now boost. Now if you see I'm boosting here, I'm adding some air. I like to use chorus a little bit on vocals since it gives like depth and movement to the vocal. So try adding effects like, I recommend chorus, but in this case, as you see, it's just a little bit, just 30. And then a little bit of saturation, tape saturation.
Am I dreaming? I'm still here.
Nice. Now, after that, I'm using two really famous EQs, such as the Pultec. It's the same EQ, but like in two different frequency ranges. I'm basically adding just a little bit here, cutting a little bit of the high end, and increasing a little bit of the mids.
Am I dreaming? I'm still here.
Before,
Oh, I feel it
after.
on my skin.
I recommend using a lot like the presets, but do not stick to those presets. Get to know your compressors, your EQs, know your tools, and that way when you hear a preset, you will know exactly how to shape it into what you want, what you really have in mind. Then after that, I'm using the Soothe. This is an incredible plugin. I'm using a preset called Voice of God. It was made by Jason Joshua. It's a really good and famous mix engineer. I love this preset, and check out what it's bringing to the mix.
Am I dreaming? I'm still here. Oh, I feel it.
Great. Now, we're almost at the end of the inserts in the vocal, and now I have the vocal writer. The vocal writer is pretty cool. I already explained because we had the same thing on Nectar, but here at the end I like to control everything, to have the dynamics really tamed and controlled.
Am I dreaming? I'm still here. Oh, I feel it.
The cool thing about the vocal writer is that we're not always bringing the signal down. So we're sometimes, if the signal is not as loud as we wanted, the vocal writer will bring it up. So we're adding dynamics, controlled, but we're adding dynamics. It's not like a complete squashed vocal. Then at the end, to finish my inserts, I have a reverb. The sense of this first reverb is to give the vocal a room because it's recorded really dry, and we need to give that little sense of space because we as humans, we're used to listen to music in a room, in a real space, not completely dry. So this reverb is adding me a lot, and if you see, I'm using 30%.
Am I dreaming? I'm still here. Oh, I feel it.
It's giving me a lot of depth. Now, a lot of you might say, hey, but don't you have to put those effects on return tracks instead of inserts? And the answer is yes, but this plugin has the option to treat the signal within the plugin without changing or touching the dry signal. So here I'm EQing the reverb only, not the voice, not the dry signal, but the reverb. As you see, I'm cutting the lows. This is something I recommend since cleaning those lows will prevent for a muddy mix. And then I'm cutting the highs that I don't really love on this effect. This is all a matter of taste. It depends if you like it or not, but I cut it. So this is everything for the inserts on the lead vocal. Then I recorded one single take, so it was kind of boring, but the Nectar has a cool feature. It's not the only plugin that does this, but you can put the key, the scale, and then you can create harmonies. By themselves, they don't sound great, but together they sound pretty cool.
I'm still here. Oh, I feel it on my skin.
The processing is exactly the same. Let's say the perfect case is to record these harmonies, but if the singer sends you something like this, like one take, you can always use these resources to create something more interesting. Now, let's go to the return tracks. First of all, I have a delay. But before the delay, I have a reverb. Why? Because the reverb gives the delay a room, space, more depth. It's like more interesting, more natural. So the same reverb that I'm using for the lead vocal, I'm putting it here before the delay. Then the delay is 100% wet since it's here on a return track. And then pay attention to this because a lot of you may know, but if you don't, this could be a game changer for you. Here I have a compressor. Hey, sorry for the interruption, but I want to tell you that if you like the way that I teach or you like the way that I work, I can teach you personally. We can do private lessons. So below you will find my email to contact me in case you want me to teach you, even if you're a beginner or if you're more advanced. Also, if you would like me to produce a song for you or mix a song for you, the same email will be helpful to contact me, and I'll tell you everything about how we can start working together. Remember to like and subscribe. Let's continue with the video. The input of the compressor will be the lead vocal. So basically, when I'm singing, the compressor will start working, start compressing, but it will compress the delay, not the dry signal. So when I'm singing, I'll have the delay control really in the back. And then when I stop singing, the delay will come up. Let's hear it on solo.
I'm still here. Oh, I feel it on my skin.
That way, I'm sure that the delay won't get in the way of the lead vocal. It will be there, but it will be super controlled. Then, another really cool thing is this parallel compression. If you see, I'm sending here 0, so everything all the way up. But I'm deciding the amount of compression, of parallel compression here on the return track, so -20. The thing with the parallel compression is that it helps you bring that element in front, in your face. So if you want your vocal more in your face, you need to increase the amount of level in the return track. Here, for the parallel compression, I'm using the 1176, the blue version. This is revision A, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, revision A. And I'm compressing a lot since that's the point of parallel compression, to have a signal really squash and slowly bring it into the dry, well, let's compress signal. Let's see.
Am I dreaming? I'm still here.
Before,
Oh, I feel it
after.
on my skin.
So, huge change, really important. Then we have parallel saturation. Here I have an exciter, but I'm sending just a little bit of signal, -40. But this just brings you a little bit of harmonics, high harmonics, so it makes the vocal a bit brighter.
Am I dreaming? I'm still here.
After the compressor, the parallel signal, I have a de-esser because sometimes on reverbs or compression, that could bring those S's back up. So with a de-esser after that, we'll control those and we'll have a cleaner mix. So it's always allowed to do that. Last but not least, on the return track, we have a reverb. In this case, I wanted a super big reverb. That's why I'm using the capital chamber on the maximum setting here. And I'm using the same trick that I use for the delay. So basically a compressor that is ducking the signal down. That way we keep the vocal always like in front, super easy to understand, but with reverb. That's how professionals get that effect, that reverb, that wet vocal, but perfectly clear. After that, I have an EQ cutting the highs and the lows. Again, mixing is about taste. So it's up to you whether if you like those highs, those lows. I'll say cut the lows and the highs are optional. Okay, so let's hear how it sounds.
Am I dreaming? I'm still here. Oh, I feel.
Let's hear the reverb without the compression.
Am I dreaming?
Super drowned.
I'm still here.
Now on.
Oh, I feel it.
Big difference, big difference. So if you're not using these techniques, start using them because they will make your mix way more professional. Last but not least, on the vocal group, so where all vocals go together, I'm using one compressor, in this case the Fairchild. I'm compressing like around 1 dB just to glue everything together.
Am I dreaming? I'm still here. Oh, I feel it.
And some final touches, like for example, some last EQ movements, cutting a bit here, cleaning here, adding some presence. Then I'm using the Sculpture, that is like the Waves Equator. I think it's the latest Wave plugin that basically knows how the vocal should sound, and then it will dynamically cut or add some volume to certain frequencies to adapt dynamically to what is happening.
Am I dreaming? I'm still here.
Sculpting the sound basically. Then I'm using the Density on Neutron 5. Density is basically an upward compression. So what's an upward compression? The normal compression that we all know is downward compression. So there's threshold, and the signal that goes up that is brought down by the compressor. While downward compression, we have the threshold, and everything below that, it will be raised by the processor. So basically all the little details will come up. It will give you maybe the little parts that you were singing softly, it will come up, and you will have a more consistent and clear level during the entire mix. And finally, I'm adding some exciter, so a little bit of harmonics, extra harmonics. I'm using multi-band, so each band is getting their own treatment. Even though now I'm realizing that I'm using the same amount and the same thing, so it will be the same to have one silicone band. But, well, I already did it. I'm using the oversampling because maybe in the highs you could add some super high harmonics and create some aliasing on some of those problems. So the oversample will prevent that. Then I'm adding the Soothe, that is cutting a bit the super high frequencies. This is, again, is up to you, is something super personal. If you like the air, you can even add a plugin such as Fresh Air, which is really good. But I don't really love it, so I use the Soothe to control that super high area. And lastly, we have the Sculpture, which is, again, sculpting the sound, but just for cleaning purposes. So I'm cleaning the muddy area. If you see, it's called Remove Mud, just to give that little professional sound and clarity at the end. And this is how it sounds.
Am I dreaming? I'm still here. Oh, I feel it on my skin. One day I'll be gone, so I'm living without control. I'll sleep when the time comes, but for now I wanna keep living.
So like you see, this chain is really cool. It has some simple but also some advanced techniques. Start applying it to your own songs. Remember that, for example, if you're doing a rock song, maybe you can use more saturation to get more grit, get more aggressive, but it'll depend. But this basic chain, it will help you to get a professional sound on any kind of music style that you're working in. So if you like the content, remember to give me a like, also to subscribe to my channel, activate the bell because I'm uploading weekly videos to the channel, so you don't want to miss any new content coming to this channel. If you have any doubt, question, or anything that you want me to do a video about, leave it below in the comments because I'm always reading everything you put and try to respond and answer to each one of you. Like I said before, below you'll find my email. Also follow me on Instagram and TikTok, and I'll see you next week with a new video. Goodbye guys, thank you.